It's Jay Thunder.
And AJ Radix.
And we are the PWX AWA Tag Team Champions, Extreme Thunder. And you're listening to the Smack Raw Podcast, baby.
Hey folks, welcome to the SmackDown podcast, our wrestling recap podcast where myself and other hosts cover WWE shows and AEW shows primarily. Every now and then we might cover like New Japan or Impact. Something big has a lot of hype behind it. If we think it'll get those YouTube clicks, we're your hosts, Kyle and Vince. Covering, hey, what's up, man? Covering for the normal team of Sebastian and Kevin, and yeah, for whatever reason they couldn't make it. They're on vacation. They're doing something. They're sick with the coronavirus. So myself, myself and Vince, we're going to be filling in here, covering tonight's go home edition of SmackDown. What's up, Vince?
Not much, man. I'm ready to go. I'm excited. This is different. This feels like when Evolution showed up on the 1000 episode of SmackDown, because it's usually the Raw team, and now we're on Friday nights. But it's cool. It's a different change of pace, and it beats having to wake up early in the morning to do so.
That's true. I mean, that is true. I drank my coffee. I gave myself a little pep talk before we went live, just to get myself ready. I'm all hyped to go,
Nice.
man. Hey, you guys, we're a pro wrestling podcast. Hit us up on, or listen to us, rather, on Spotify, Stitcher Radio, Podbean, Google Play Music, and Apple Podcasts. Of course, we are on YouTube, where if you're watching, we are live right now. You can go ahead, hit that like and subscribe. Go ahead, turn that notify bell on, and so you can be up to date whenever the SmackDown podcast goes live or gives our recaps and our predictions, which you have a predictions episode coming up tomorrow, right? For Elimination Chamber?
Yeah. I'm going to try to get that out there. I was trying to get it up today, but at the last minute they decided, let me wait till SmackDown because they might announce the last minute match. And they actually did. Yeah. So it worked out in the end. So it should be dropping Saturday morning. So stay tuned for that. Watch this episode first, and then go listen to our predictions.
Yeah, for sure. Also, if you are wondering where you can watch us, maybe YouTube isn't your thing. We're also live over on Facebook, Twitter, and our Twitch channel, the SmackDown Podcast Twitch channel as well. You can check us out live there. I will be lurking in the comments over on YouTube. If you want to interact with the show, drop us some questions. We are really trying to gain that, what would you call it, the fan interaction?
Yeah. We want that fan engagement, we want to interact with everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Just build the community,
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, go ahead and head over to YouTube and go ahead and chat with us there. And I'll make sure to reply. We'll give you a shout out on the show. You drop any questions, you want anything special, any special mentions, whatever, man, we'll do it. Whatever. Just hop on over, man. Yeah. Oh man. So go home edition for the Elimination Chamber. Boy, oh boy. This is the road to WrestleMania, but it has never felt more convoluted. You think they just remembered last second, oh damn, we got to do something, we gotta build.
I think it's a combination of two things. One, it's you have so many shows bunched in together because normally it would just be Rumble, B-level pay-per-view in the middle, and then WrestleMania. And now it's the B-level pay-per-view, and then it was a week or two removed from Crown Jewel or Saudi Arabia show part 3 or whatever.
Not even 2 weeks, man. Not even 2 weeks.
And that's the thing. It's it's kind of hard because they didn't really build to this Elimination Chamber because they were building to the Saudi show, and before that they were building to Mania. So it's they're trying to build to 3 different shows at the same time, and because certain storylines aren't set in stone, you can't fully develop them, and it's just a case of too many things being thrown at us at once. And also I feel they're just switching up plans on the fly, because you saw that at Rumble, when Shayna was probably supposed to win that Rumble, and then instead they put Charlotte in there, and that's why they had Shayna in the Chamber match. And it felt like the Chamber match was supposed to go to SmackDown, because a couple of weeks ago we saw Lacey talk about how she's going to go through like 5 other women to get another shot at the SmackDown Women's title. And now I guess the question is, like, how do we get to that point? Because the women's title has to be defended at WrestleMania, and right now Bayley's run through everyone in the division. I mean,
Bayley's
we can get more into it. Yeah.
Bayley's looking good, man.
Yeah, so I mean, we can go more into it once she gets into her segment, because it wasn't too far into the show. But I think tonight's episode of SmackDown, the second half was really good. The first half was a snooze fest, except for the tag team match.
Well, gauntlet matches are always going to be good. I swear, gauntlet matches are always going to be good. I got a question for the viewers, man. Is there any excitement for the Elimination Chamber anymore, with as much stuff as WWE try to pack in between Royal Rumble? Like, I get why the Elimination Chamber was important, but is it important anymore? Like, do you even get excited? I'm not going to piss all over it. I will say there's little bits here and there I'm excited for, but these segments could easily be filled into a weekly episode of television instead of being tossed on a half-assed pay-per-view that we're about to receive. Not that it's going to be necessarily a bad pay-per-view. I don't think it'll be too bad. I just feel like it's hard to get excited for. It's with as much stuff as it's been sandwiched between.
Definitely.
Let's get into the show, though, man. The show kicks off. We're kicking off from our boy Kevin's hometown of Buffalo, New York.
Oh man,
yeah,
maybe that's why he came on the show. He secretly went, but didn't tell us.
Yeah, right, man. He's probably the one lurking in our YouTube chat right now. We kick off the show with a moment of bliss with NWO. Nikki Cross fangirls out, takes a selfie. She is an NWO fan for life. Asks, what do we call Sean Waltman? Sean Waltman says, call me a Hall of Famer. Yeah, that was pretty lame, Sean. Now, we're gonna call you X-Pac. Don't even try to play around that. You're X-Pac for life, bro.
Yeah, you're X-Pac for life, bro.
Sammy's crew comes out, interrupt them, and by the way, the NWO faction, I guess I should specify, since there's like 50 members. You got Kevin Nash, X-Pac, and Razor Ramon out there, Scott Hall. They made sure to mention that Hulk Hogan's included in this Hall of Fame class. However, I guess he couldn't be bothered to show up in Buffalo. So, but standard Alexa Bliss, moment of bliss, talk show stuff that you normally get week in and week out. Mm-hmm. Sami Zayn, Cesaro, Shinsuke, they all come out to confront the NWO. We get a little tease of a fight, some trash talking. Of course, Sammy's crew backs off. Thank God, because I don't think any member in that ring, besides maybe X-Pac, can take a bump. Mm-hmm. Like, I just don't think it can happen anymore.
I don't even think X-Pac can take a bump.
Dude, I think Kevin Nash would stumble and his knees would explode. Yeah, I know.
Bro, he's gonna tear another quad, just like staring at Nakamura.
Oh man, I do like the comment though that Sammy, being the Weasley heel that he is, says you guys want the rub to be relevant.
I love that.
Yeah, flip the script. Braun Strowman comes out, corners Sami Zayn. He gets ran back into the ring. He uses Alexa Bliss as a meat shield. I love Nikki Cross's little touch on slapping his wrist to let go of Alexa, but he scurries off. And apparently Braun Strowman says at Elimination Chamber, which he has the handicap match against Sami Zayn, Cesaro, and Shinsuke, says, you guys are going to get these hands, and it's going to be too sweet. That was the opening segment, man.
The whole segment, I tweeted about it. It was lame and pointless to me. Like, it didn't advance anything. Yeah. At all for nobody. There were like small good moments that like are just like haha Twitter moments, like Sammy grabbing Alexa as a human shield, and then that turning into like a goddamn meme on Twitter, like immediately, like half an hour after the fact. Kevin Nash basically burying or shooting on Goldberg, saying that I talked to Roman and there's two things you need to beat him. you need a Scott Hall and a cattle prod. So like making allude to the fact that that's how they ended the dominant streak of Goldberg. And then also, like you were saying, the whole Sammy saying, "Oh, you guys just wanted the rub from like fighting us." Those like three little things that like really worked. Nikki Cross was very cringe. They need to get her away from Alexa Bliss and pair her up with Killian Dane or have her on her own. Go back to the sanity, Nikki Cross. This is just bad, man. I'm not feeling it. I'm not with it whatsoever.
Man, I don't know. I feel like it comes through when you have old writers trying to make wrestlers sound cool, and it can be bad at times. But I mean, it is what it is. I got a question though. The segment is one thing. The larger talking point, the Hall of Fame. We getting too many multi-time Hall of Famers. Something about the NWO's induction just doesn't. It feels. I don't know. I'm not saying like the NWO doesn't deserve it.
I'm gonna say it, man. I'm gonna say it. It's because they have. If it was just a trio of Hulk Hogan, Nash, and Hall, no one would dispute it. No one dispute those three guys being a two-time Hall of Famer. It's X-Pac. I'm sorry. X-Pac was not a big member of the NWO. The only reason why he's getting inducted is because he's friends with Nash, Hall, HBK, and Triple H, and they want to get their buddy a second Hall of Fame ring. That's all it is. That's all it is. If you want to include a fourth member, I'd say Big Show deserves it more because he was actually the fourth member of NWO.
That's true.
And if you go in chronological order. Look, I'm sorry. X-Pac, Six-Pac, Sean Waltman, whatever. He's more known for DX, and he deserved that DX Hall of Fame induction. But I'm sorry. He did not deserve to be inducted with NWO. It should have just been Hall, Hogan, and Nash. That's all it should have been. That's why it feels like Sean Waltman, like, why is Sean Waltman a two-time Hall of Famer? He should not be a two-time Hall of Famer.
Like I said, not only that, and I totally agree with what you're saying, by the way. Mm-hmm. Do we have too many two-time Hall of Famers? Do you remember how long Ric Flair was the only two-time Hall of Famer for going in solo and then with the Four Horsemen? And it always sounded cool. Like during his intro, they'd run down all his accolades, and they would always cherry on the top. And two-time Hall of Famer, and in a matter of just
he's gonna be a three-timer though.
When Evolution,
so he can then like tip his hat and say,
but Triple H will be a three-time Hall of Famer right behind him for DX, Evolution, and being Triple H. You know, so. Yeah, that's the thing, is Triple H will get inducted before he's 50, you know? You'd have to think.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
So Ric Flair and Triple H will just be... That's what I'm saying. We're a decade away from everybody as a multi-time Hall of Famer, and we're going to have several three-time Hall of Famers, and it's going to feel... I mean, in my opinion, it already feels kind of silly. But then again... We're talking about a non-existent Hall of Fame to begin with.
Yeah.
You know, so
I guess it's just kind of weird because normally in other sports Hall of Fames, you only go in once and then that's it. They're recognized for all your achievements, whether you did it as a group, as a team, or whatever. But I think it's a little different with WWE just because tag teams, factions, sometimes, like for instance, Edge and Christian, or like the Hardys, you can maybe make a case they go in separately or together, whichever way you want to do it. The issue I have is that you shouldn't be inducting tag teams or factions just to induct them. Like that's where it lost its luster.
You gotta fill spots, man. It's an annual thing. You don't have like, you know, as big of rosters as you do in like actual leagues, like sports leagues, where you have thousands of players to comb through. You know, the roster in pro wrestling is only so big. That's why we induct guys that never even touched down in WWE nowadays.
And not only that, it's the simple case where like pro wrestling is the only sport, or like if you can call it a sport, where you don't just make an impact as a singles athlete, you make an impact as a faction, as a tag team. So that's why it's kind of weird. Obviously, if you're a great wrestler, you deserve to be in there twice or three times or four times or five times. I don't care. You know, that's fine with me as long as the induction is justified. And I think Kevin Nash going in by himself, justified. Hall going in by himself as Razor Ramon, justified. NWO as a faction, you could say if it wasn't for NWO, the momentum doesn't swing to WCW's way, and WWE don't feel the need to have to go into the Attitude Era edgy stuff, and we never get Stone Cold.
Yeah,
so
I hear you.
And the butterfly effect stuff. So I mean, I get where you're coming from. Like for instance, Booker T, like he shouldn't be a 2-time Hall of Famer. I love Booker T, but I don't know. I don't know if Harlem Heat. Yeah, I don't know about Harlem.
Dude, we could make a whole show criticizing people that are in the Hall of Fame. So let's not get too sidetracked. But
Sonny is the big one that stands out.
yeah. All right, let's move on. Speaking of tag teams, we get a tag team match with Naomi and Lacey Evans taking on Sasha Banks and Bayley. Lacey gets taken out early, which is good because it allowed Naomi to shine. The girl needs her rub being gone so long. We need to remember how impactful Naomi is, help bolster up this women's division over on SmackDown. Naomi almost picks up the victory with her split-legged moonsault. It's broken up by Bayley on the corner. She gets hung up. Sasha Banks comes over, hits a nice Meteora with Naomi hung up in the corner. So I thought that was actually pretty cool. She pins her right there. Quick victory for Sasha and Bayley, but Naomi still looked good in there too as well. You got following that, got a quick little interview with the New Day hyping their gauntlet match. That's going to be the main event later on in the evening to determine the last tag team entrant in the Elimination Chamber match. During this interview, it is revealed that Big E is like a moose in mating season. He can go for hours and hours. Man, he's over there making Kayla Braxton blush, man. He was trying to get her.
I love Big E, man.
Dude.
I love Big E, man.
Yeah,
dude,
man.
He is a national treasure. I love that, man.
Former NXT champion.
People forget that. Forget that.
Then hitting over here where we got this picture from backstage, Sasha Banks, Bayley. Bayley cuts for one of the best promos I've ever heard her cut. Just feeling herself back there, man. But she does drop little subtle lines. They were very subtle. Like you knew like the Twitterverse, we'll call them. You were just combing through this, looking for anything when you see these two interact to indicate that they might fight someday. And I think we got a little bit of indication there. While Bayley's talking herself up, saying that she can beat anyone from the future, especially from the present or the past, we catch Sasha Banks glance that title a couple times. Sasha Banks says she is going to dedicate her new album to you, but I picked up on this. When she said you, she pointed at the belt, but it was very subtly. It was very subtle and quick. But she distinctly pointed at that belt. And then I hop over on Twitter, and sure enough, everybody else saw this. And it was like the internet was burning down. Everybody was all over it, man. I hate to be the spoiler, folks. I hate to be the spoiler. You guys are putting too much pressure on this match. It's going to go. If we get it at WrestleMania, it's not going to be TakeOver Brooklyn. It's not. You guys are going to... Here's the thing. It's gonna. Hold on, I'll let you go. It's gonna be the same thing that happened when we learned that Styles was taking on Nakamura. We thought we were gonna get this New Japan match for WrestleMania, and everybody hyped it up too much, and we all got let down. Granted, it didn't have to end with a kick to the dick, but essentially that's kind of what I'm feeling we're gonna get, man. Do you agree?
What, a kick to the dick? I don't think that applies here, man.
Shut up, man.
Oh, okay. Oh, I know what you meant. No, okay. So I'm with you. I don't think this is happening at Mania. I think the seeds are being planted slowly but surely. I think that Sasha is either going to have a Legends match with like a returning Trish, or she's just going to be managing Bayley and being in the Battle Royal. As much as I love Sasha, I think they're going to save this for a SummerSlam. They're going to slow burn this. Because you're right, if they do it at WrestleMania, as much as we love to see it, it's not going to be TakeOver Brooklyn. It's not even going to be like a regular, like, they've had matches against each other on the Raw or in NXT before. It's not even going to be that, because there's going to be like 15, 16 matches at WrestleMania. They're not going to get the time they deserve. Because there's other two matches, unfortunately, WWE values Charlotte and Becky Lynch a little bit more right now, and they'll give those two matches more time, as opposed to this one, which will have the better story, if we're going to sit here and talk about that. So I personally would like to see the turn happen at Mania, and then that's when you slowly build to like a SummerSlam match or like a B-level pay-per-view where you have that feud slowly simmering, underneath the surface. That's what I want to see. I don't want it at WrestleMania because like you mentioned, I've been burned in the past with the AJ Styles Nakamura stuff, and I'd rather see it at a B-level pay-per-view or at SummerSlam where they get like a good 20 to 30 minutes to tear the house down.
Yeah. Honestly, if you're really smart about it, have it main event a B-level pay-per-view. You could build a whole pay-per-view around the feud and then give it the time it deserves, and then bang, all of a sudden this pay-per-view that no one's really hyped behind stands out. And I mean, that's what you do, in my opinion. The bigger the show, the less chance of the match actually delivering as kind of what people are pressuring it to be, which is going to be one of those drag out, callbacks to take over Brooklyn. And if that's what we really want, we need it to be on a less important pay-per-view. Plain and simple.
Right.
Hit me up in the comments if you agree. Let me know, man. Let me know. Am I off base here? This is just me thinking out loud, man. I'm just thinking on the fly. All right. So following this, we've got a match between Sheamus and Apollo Crews. Sheamus is in the ring. He's actually made his way to the ring before the Sasha and Bayley promo even happened. Before the match starts, though, backstage, we've got Shorty G. God, I hate saying it every time. Chad Gable.
Chad Gable.
Yeah.
I'm not calling him Shorty G. He's a grown-ass man. I'm not calling him Shorty G.
Chad Gable, man, trying to support Apollo, man. I got your back. You need help, let me know. Apollo's not in it. And then Apollo goes out there, and honestly, he gets beat by Sheamus in less time than the promo even took. A couple things here. A, is this a retread of American Alpha? Because if I remember correctly, this is exactly how American Alpha was formed. Gable just pestering Jason Jordan until Jordan agreed to form this tag team, and then they took off. I liked what the Going in Raw podcast tweeted out, though, during the segment. I liked their take on it more. They said Apollo and Gable have had their own mini Hangman Young Bucks story going without any of the good stuff. Hashtag SmackDown.
That's where I think this might be going. I think they're going to use this as a way to turn Apollo Crews heel. I tweeted about it. Give me an Apollo Crews heel run. He's one of those guys that unfortunately was in NXT and got called up too fast and wasn't allowed to develop a character down in Full Sail. Yeah. And I'm starting to think Ricochet is another one of those guys. He's a level above Apollo
starting.
Crews, but
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I know what you meant. Like when he got called up, he was at a better level, a higher level than Apollo Crews, in a better situation than Apollo Crews, and better opportunity, better chance to succeed than Apollo. But they're two of the same kind of people that needed to stay in NXT long enough to develop a character and then get called up to the main roster. Something that, like, you see, like a Roderick Strong, had he not joined Undisputed Era and gotten a little bit more of his like heel like character to come out, he would have floundered and probably would have been in 205 Live and would have ended up in like AEW or New Japan 2 years from now.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, look at someone like a Mike Kanellis, like guys that should have gone to NXT.
Who?
So I don't know. I'm interested to see what Apollo can do as a heel. Maybe more of his character comes out. I'm not gonna hold my breath on it because it's Apollo Crews and WWE probably aren't gonna do anything too big with him.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. I mean, right now, there's more promise in Apollo Crews than there is Ricochet.
Unfortunately,
I don't know, man. I kind of like Apollo Crews. I mean,
like Apollo too.
Some say I might have something against Ricochet. I don't know where you're getting that from, but given the two, I'm pulling for Crews here, man. I'm pulling for Crews. Take it, man. Go forward, Crews. Do something with this.
Crews hasn't even won a single title in WWE, so that's something I want to see him do.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he can do it too. Something else that needs to be done, and I'm happy it is. Backstage, Drake Maverick, forgot he even exists, along with some other people that pop up on the show too, by the way.
Right.
Drake Maverick approaches Gulak. He's like, I want my shot. And I was like, is this how this works now? And Gulak is taken back. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, I want you essentially to book me in a match against Daniel Bryan. I want my shot against Daniel Bryan. I was like, cool, man. This is how you get a match against Daniel Bryan now, is you go to Gulak. Gulak says, "Listen, man, you're not on his level." He said he's has pinpointed Daniel Bryan's like 129 or some absurd numbers.
167,
167
like
flaws
weaknesses
in his game or weaknesses. Yeah. He's like,
Yeah,
take
oh
for
my
instance
gosh.
his roundhouse kick, and I actually got interested. I wanted to hear him critique it, but before he could, Daniel Bryan emerges from behind him, and Gulak obviously stops, and Bryan tries to implore, go ahead, finish, and he obviously, this has gotten really awkward. So Daniel Bryan says, if you're so good at pinpointing my weaknesses, let's have a match at Elimination Chamber. Yes, thank you. I want to see these guys go. I don't care where it is on the card. I hope it's the beginning of a feud, man. Oh, and by the way, Gulak looks pretty dope in white, by the way. That whole white getup he had on, that was
more
pretty
of
clean.
a silverish gray. That's the color I saw. Maybe different saturations on our television screen
Maybe.
changed that up for us.
Maybe, but either way, he looked dapper, man. He looked very dapper.
I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. I am behind this feud. If anybody can go with Daniel Bryan in terms of being a technician in the ring, it's Gulak. This is a match I've wanted to see. It's a match that Daniel Bryan wanted to see, because when they did the initial draft and he found out that Gulak went to SmackDown, Daniel Bryan's like, oh, but I want that match. And even Drew Gulak himself, I think in the past, has said that he wants to see this match. And in the Cruiserweight Classic, if you want to go all the way back there, Daniel Bryan had nothing but good things to say about Drew Gulak.
That is true, man.
He would love to.
Back when Gulak looked like he was a member of like King Arthur or something.
Oh, I hated that Drew Gulak. I if that Drew Gulak was still around, I would bury him to the ends of the earth. But this Drew Gulak is dope. I love him. I want him to be a little bit more serious and not rely too much on the silliness of the PowerPoint stuff, but still be serious inside the ring when it matters. This could be a feud that leads into something at WrestleMania. Maybe. We don't know, because we don't know what Daniel's doing at WrestleMania. Right, as of right now, everything's wide open.
That's true, man. That is true. Daniel Bryan, yeah, what an attraction for Mania. And right now, like you said, no idea what we're doing with him. And I like that, though. I like that. I hope it doesn't have to be over the top, because we've already got plenty of over the top feuds. I want just something good to chew on. Like I said, I'm plenty excited for Drew Gulak, and I hope the fan reception translates really well in this match, and that the WWE see hey, there's demand for this, and we get it going. Or who knows? Maybe we're a minority here. According to Goldberg, we're the minority, because apparently it was just the minority of fans that had trouble, didn't like him beating the Fiend. Anyways, though.
Okay, boomer.
Yeah,
that's the biggest okay boomer. I don't even like saying that phrase. I don't really say it, but that's the first thing that came to mind when I heard Goldberg say that on the bump. I'm like, okay, boomer. Okay, whatever.
Oh my gosh!
Explain to me how a 53-year-old winning the top title and beating the act that was over and dominant for 6 months with a shitty suplex makes any sense. How that makes anybody happy? The only people that were happy were Goldberg fans. That's about it.
Hey, Goldberg was happy. He got paid, bro. That's all he cared about, man. 53 years old? Yeah, I'll take that paycheck. Hell, man, you gonna turn it
bump
down?
That.
Yeah.
No, bump that. No.
Anyway.
I'm gonna be like John Cena and put over the young folk.
Here we go. Yeah. Anyways. Support Bryan and Gulak, man. Make this match continue forward. Make this a rivalry.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Following this, we have a tag match: Carmella and Dana Brooke. As much as I rip on Ricochet, I completely contradict myself, because I'm a huge Dana Brooke fan, even though I know this act is going nowhere.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for at least being self-aware and acknowledging that. As long as you know that's a thing, I'm okay with it. Listen.
I might be alone in this, and I willingly acknowledge that. Without even any funny business, without anything funny or trying to create a joke out of it, would much rather listen to Dana Brooke promo over Ricochet. And I'm being 100% honest, man. I don't know. I can't tell you. I can't explain it. That's just me, and it probably literally is just me. But
maybe it has to do with the fact that you're a male guy that's attracted to female wrestlers, so you be more engaged with a beautiful woman talking, as opposed to like if you ask a female wrestling fan, that they might vary. They might be into guys and would prefer seeing Ricochet on the mic or prefer to see Dana. I think it pertains to our sexual preferences, Kyle. I think that's what it is, because they're about the same level in terms of promo skill, which is sad to think about.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I think that's what it is.
Anyways, Carmella and Dana Brooke take on Fire and Desire, who are accompanied by Dolph Ziggler. I think I overheard commentary saying that it was Sonya Deville invited Ziggler out there with him. But obviously, Mandy Rose here is no longer uncomfortable with the situation. She's really leaning into the Ziggler stuff. Honestly, the most notable thing about the match here is that the crowd were very loudly chanting that they want Otis. And Fire Desire pick up the win. They with a Ziggler distraction. Dana Brooke gets smashed in the face by a mean V-trigger delivered by Mandy Rose. And
hey, man, she's got a mean V-trigger.
That's very true, man. She does. She does, man. Back. I gotta say though, I don't have it. Oh no, it's later. Okay, I was like, man, I hope I wrote down the notes for Otis, but no, that came up later. Yeah. We get a return of the Firefly Funhouse. Oh boy, they didn't waste any time, and it was perfect. They kick off the segment, and Bray Wyatt says something to the degree of, you might be wondering why I want to have this match with John Cena, and Ramblin' Rabbit speaks up in a hurry and just laid it all out there. He pretty much said, because of your WrestleMania match 6 years ago, when it was like your spiral descent of the destruction of like your personal and professional life, just like this really forward.
Wow, he took it.
Dude, it was so. Did you catch it? Did you see it?
No, yeah, I know. I'm just this is how I felt about it. I'm like, damn, Ramblin' Rabbit, you didn't have to put him on the spot like that.
It was super blunt. It was like that one. It was like that one friend when you're like, you break up with like a girl or something, and your buddy kicks in. He's like, "How you doing, man?" And then before you can say anything, your buddy chimes up. He's like, "Oh, he's doing terrible. She cheated on him with his brother." Like, he's sad.
Whoa.
And you're just like, dude, calm down. Like, don't put my stuff out there. But it was so good, man. I'm not gonna lie, as hilarious as the whole Ramblin' Rabbit segment was, and they gave a little recap of the WrestleMania match. Bray Wyatt delivered one of the most chilling. Like, I think it's just because there is like a level of realness to this. It was very chilling, very gritty, awesome Firefly Funhouse segment. I can't really just go over it. The promo just was like how everything's a circle. You always come back to where you started and everything. But it was dark. It was chilling, and it was awesome. And the build for this match has officially begun. I'm hyped. This is easily the match I'm the most excited for WrestleMania.
I would say on the SmackDown side it is, until they start building up Bayley versus Sasha, if they do indeed do that. On the Raw side and overall, it's still Edge versus Randy Orton. I mean, it's Edge, dude. He's been gone for like 9+ years. I want to see this feud, and they told us tonight that he was going to return to Raw on Monday too. So.
Yeah, because people don't like surprise. I get you trying to pop your ratings and stuff, and you want people to tune in, but you're sacrificing all your damn surprises, man. Just like announcing this stuff. Hey, you got to do what you got to do, though. Everything's a business. I don't know, man.
Going back to the Fiend and Cena stuff, let me ask you a question quickly. Like, after the fact, it's been like 2 weeks almost since it happened. Would you prefer this feud being for the title or being a revenge thing?
I purely love that this is a revenge thing, because that's way more impactful for Bray's career than holding that championship. I believe that match is just way bigger than the title. And that's like, I always thought that. I was like, before he ever got the belt, I wanted him to run through his hit list, like his revenge hit list, before he even ever considered looking at the belt.
Yeah, that's one thing that I didn't like about him winning the title initially. Was like, damn, we're gonna end up in a situation where he's gonna lose, and it's not gonna look good when he does lose that title, and like how they're gonna move on from it.
Yeah,
In my head, the way I've justified it, in my head, there's been no storyline whatsoever. But in my head, I justified it with the Fiend let him win, and he's like, you know what, I don't want the title. He knew John Cena was coming the next night, and that's what he decided to do.
Yeah, you kind of took almost my thought. I was like, I've almost had to convince myself just to willingly push aside that he now has an L to Goldberg, because it's like the Fiend can beat anybody, and he'd be like, wow, the Fiend just won a 3-on-1 handicap match, but yet he still lost to Goldberg in a matter of like 2 or 3 minutes. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm just trying to go back to that whole thing where Saudi's just non-canon. It's formality stuff. Yeah, and but yeah. Who knows, man? Maybe they'll wrap it up in a nice little bow. Bray will say, he was distracted. No, hell no. Don't say you were distracted. Don't even acknowledge it, man. Just fucking move on.
Yeah, just ignore it. Like they would be like to do. Just ignore it like it never happened.
This
like
is one of those times I agree with. Just fucking ignore it, man.
Yeah. Just pretend it was like the Katie Vex stuff and just ignore it and erase it from your mind.
Oh man. Anyways, Jesus, lost my train of thought now.
It happened.
We gotta, actually, you know what? That goes right into the next segment, which was a basic Goldberg promo, which is where I lost my train of thought because could care less. I gotta ask, man, who's out there? Who's out there excited for this? Be honest. I'm not gonna rag on you. If this is your cup of tea, man, cool. And I ain't got no problem with it. I'm kind of with the majority here. It's like, yeah, cool, Goldberg's back. Just hate that he has to have the title. That's all it is. I don't think
this would have been a cool match had it not been for the title. And I don't think this needed the title either. But then at that situation, like SmackDown has, it's in a spot right now where they don't have, like, if they were going to do that match, one of those matches has to have the title because they didn't build up any other top guy. They pushed Kofi all the way down to tag team guy, and Daniel Bryan's just guy that does random stuff and feuds with like mid-carders and elevates them. So they don't have another top guy to like hold that title and then have another WWE title match and have these two matches separately be non-title. That's the big thing there. If in terms of who's invested in this and who's excited for this, I know my 12-year-old cousin's really, really excited about this match because his two favorite wrestlers are Goldberg and Roman Reigns, and he's going to be watching WrestleMania with us. So I'm curious.
Awesome for him, man. Good for him, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and I'm not even being sarcastic. I'm being legit. Like his two favorite wrestlers are Roman and Goldberg, so I know he's geeked about this match.
That's good, man. I mean, there you go. So at least this is hitting like some people are good because you know what I mean. You get more exposure when you're screaming and you're pissed off and you're trying to get those anger clicks. But I don't want to do that. Like I said, it's not my cup of tea. I could criticize this all day long. It is what it is, though. We're gonna get it. I'll enjoy it for what it is,
And let's be honest, it's probably gonna be like a 3 to 5 minute match where Roman just destroys Goldberg with like 3 spears.
Yeah, that would be nice. That'd be really.
That's probably
what if
that's all it's gonna be,
dude. What if they get cold feet? Goldberg beats him, and they want to drag it out to like SummerSlam, like what they did with Brock Lesnar. Like every time it was he was poised to beat him.
Title already. Just give Roman the goddamn title and let's move on. I don't want Goldberg on my screen anymore.
Speaking of which, let's move on here because it actually fits in with us just talking nonsense. We got Corbin having a backstage interview. He's interrupted by Elias, but I love Corbin's. Now that Corbin is away from Roman, instantly likable again because he's sitting here insulting Elias. You're delusional, thinking like you're this icon or this thing that's not real. You're delusional, and he's like, and at like Elimination Chamber or whatever, he's like, I'll make you bow because I'm a king, and it's hilarious because he's calling Elias delusional while he runs around wearing a freaking robe.
Being delusional,
being delusional. So it was a nice little joke. I love Baron Corbin's self-deprecating humor and obliviousness. I think it's perfect whenever you're going to be like this big oaf of a jerk that you really should have just that oblivious doofus character to go with
Yeah.
it, and it makes Corbin likable. Like now, yeah, like absolutely. So
Honestly, I was always a big fan of Corbin when he was this kind of heel. When he was Constable Baron Corbin, that was my favorite Baron Corbin. Everybody's like, "Oh, I miss like the End of Days
what,
Baron Corbin."
Applebee's Corbin.
Applebee's Corbin was the best Corbin, and I will stick to that till I go in my grave, man. That's the best Corbin ever.
All right, man. Whatever you say. Anyways, backstage, Otis confronts Mandy Rose and apologizes. Says, Mandy, it's true though. Like, I'm sorry I stood you up. You know, I apologize. But I really did receive a text saying that, you know, you were running late. And Mandy says, you know, it's too late. Girl doesn't appreciate getting stood up, stuff like that. And Otis is left there feeling sad. What I'm wondering is, what happened last week when it was time for Otis to move on? You know what I mean? Like, and I'm ready to move on next week and leave this alone.
Let's be honest, man. We've all been there. We've all like have crushed on someone. Stuff doesn't line up how we're supposed to, and we say we're gonna move on, and we want to move on, but deep down inside, we're still like stuck on the whole thing. I've been there. I'm sure you've been there. Everyone out there has been there, where they say they're gonna move on from someone, and they're still over there trying to make it work, even though it's not gonna happen. And unfortunately, I mean, that just makes Otis more human and more relatable. So I saw myself in Otis in that moment. I felt for him. I know where he's coming from. I've been there, done that. I've learned from it. And that's all Otis has to do is learn from his experience. That's all it is.
That's
it's
wonderful, man. Oh, my gosh. That's well put. Well put, Vince. Kudos.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Man. The tag team gauntlet, time for the main event. When I looked down at the clock, I think we had 45 minutes or so. We had roughly about 45 minutes or more. This is once again, it's a tag team gauntlet match featuring all the tag teams that are in the Elimination Chamber. So you got Heavy Machinery, the Usos, Rudolph, Lucha House Party, New Day, and
Miz and
Morrison, the champs. Yeah, of course.
And the winner got to get the finals entry. Like, it gets to enter the chamber last, right?
Yeah, and I think they said something along the lines that in all the Elimination Chamber matches, like, whoever came out last has won, like, 6 of them. Like, they're starting to do, like, by the numbers, like the Royal Rumble. And so the Elimination Chamber, since we've had quite a bit of them, you can start to see that. And I guess the final spot, the obvious one, is has produced the most winners. If I am remembering this correctly, but it makes sense.
It's okay. It's fun. It's facts that WWE probably just made up on the spot. You know,
could be.
They probably not even legit. They just want to like get further storyline.
I didn't fact check them. I didn't even write it down. I was like, I'm gonna try and remember this whenever we start shooting.
Right.
But yeah, so we kick off. Right away, we kick off with Heavy Machinery taking on the New Day. And I was like, well, damn, looks like we're not going to see Otis mix it up with Ziggler because there's no way Heavy Machinery are going over New Day. My surprise, man, they went over clean as a damn whistle. They hit the compactor on Big E after a good little show in there. And they've pinned the, 7-time tag team champions, something like that. Man, so that was really good. They followed up with Lucha House Party, who is the other people I forgot were still employed by WWE. I'm sorry. Not trying to rag on them, just being truthful here.
Yes.
Not taking anything away from Dorado and Grand Metalik, man. Guys are
they were the least likely to win that match.
Yeah, they were butter between the ropes. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Heavy Machinery will get this little momentum because they're obviously going to pick up the win. To my surprise, they gave Lucha House Party and Heavy Machinery quite a bit of time out there. I was shocked at how long that went when I thought that would be the quickest squash of all of them. Anyways, Machinery, go ahead. They beat Lucha House Party. Out comes your tag champions. From what I gather,
it wasn't it Uso next.
That's right, it was Usos.
It was Uso after that.
The Usos were in and out so quick. That's why I forgot because think it was like Jay or Jimmy, one of the two. They got rolled up within a matter of a minute or two, for a quick pin victory. And at this point, everyone's like, well, damn, can't believe Heavy Machinery's going this far, but you still don't know what to get of it. Like, maybe, okay, you just needed to write off these teams so you can get the heel teams out here. And because obviously having a babyface with the advantage doesn't make much sense. So when you see Miz and Morrison, the current tag champions, come out, that was my instant gut feeling. Okay, now it's time to go ahead and get the heels the win. And it's not the case, man. Morrison gets rolled up by Tucker as well, and they get pinned. That means the tag champions have been pinned clean 2 weeks in a row. Make matters worse, this week they were pinned clean by a team that had already gone through 3 other tag teams. So do with that knowledge what you will, folks. But I'm not gonna sit here and hate on it, man. It is what it is. After Tucker hits that inside cradle on Morrison, Miz and Morrison, they beat down Tucker and Otis. They beat them down really bad. Otis is laid out. All while Mandy Rose is watching from backstage. So that's obviously the biggest story that they're leaning into still. Ziggler and Rude come out. They're the last ones out. At this point, even though I'm talking through it very quickly, Tucker and Otis have been out there. Big boys. Been out there for about 40 minutes. Like, you need to give it up to these guys for stamina alone, especially Tucker. Tucker's the one carrying that weight. Otis is getting in there for the pops and everything, but obviously Tucker's the stamina horse between the two here. Yeah. He was the one putting in the work. And we eventually do get a hot tag to Otis after teasing it several times, keeping them apart. Otis pretty much lays out Robert Roode every way possible. All you're waiting for is Ziggler to get in there. Ziggler finally gets the blind tag. Otis doesn't see it, however. He's going for the Caterpillar on Robert Roode. Ziggler, out of nowhere, hits the super kick. Just like that, 45 minutes worth of work undone with a quick super kick. And Rude and Ziggler end up winning. They'll be the last spot in the Elimination Chamber match. Vince, what did you think, man? Is this to annoy the people, or is this smart booking to keep Otis and Ziggler away?
The one thing I'm gonna say, one good thing about this result is that they're building on one of the hottest feuds in SmackDown right now: Otis Dosovich versus Dolph Ziggler for the love of Mandy Rose. And here's the thing: it's just another thing that Dolph Ziggler has done to like stick it to Otis, and that's what this is. And they're getting, it's not necessarily to get heat on Rude and Ziggler, it's to get heat on Ziggler for the eventual kumbaya moment for Otis down the line probably at Mania. Yeah. So this just kind of like threw a monkey wrench into my whole predictions, because initially I was like, there's no way Miz and Morrison are going to drop those titles at Chamber, but they just lost 2 weeks in a row clean. Like, they're probably going to lose those titles at the Chamber. I don't know.
Yeah, man.
I don't know. That's a toss-up, man.
It could be like, but we have seen in the past those champions that they lose all their matches that are non-title and then somehow win the matches that are title matches. I want to say that happened to Seth Rollins, and I want to say it happened to The Miz a lot when they were champs. I can't quite remember, because I think I think they've done a better job protecting their champions a little bit more recently. But I know it's obviously not the first time that we've seen champions getting pinned frequently. It's just they got those belts, and in the 2 follow-up matches since they won the titles, they've lost both times. Big deal, though. Big deal. It's Miz and Morrison don't need those belts. Their character work alone is always going to keep them popular. So I do like Morrison's little like side flip elbow drop. That junk looks nice. I ain't gonna lie. That I'm not really about the Starship Pain. Not a fan of it. I think it looks weaker than the Bailey to Belly. But that side flip whatever that he does to an elbow drop, that looks really nice. And I didn't mind this. I mean, you did the right thing. You got heat on Ziggler, and then also you kept him and Otis away from each other, because you really, if that's what people are clamoring for the most right now, you want to save that for your big shows. You know what I mean? You don't give it away for free. But
exactly.
That's it, man. That's it. And then so that closed the show, man. That's it for Elimination Chamber. Pretty much it. Like I said, a pay-per-view that I don't think anyone's too excited for, but I just have that distinct feeling that we'll be pleasantly surprised. I bet it'll be a fun night. That's what I'm hoping for. I don't expect it to be a big, crazy reveals and heel turns and all of that stuff. I'm expecting it to be funner than we expect, and I think that's all we can really hope for at this point.
Yeah, I think it's gonna definitely over deliver because expectations are so low, and honestly, that's when WWE delivers most. When the expectations are so low on the pay per view, usually they knock it out of the park. When expectations are too high, like WrestleMania, what was it, 34, or when it was the Nakamura one?
Yeah,
Like 34 had like a bunch of matches that were overly hyped, and they just flopped. A lot of them did.
Yeah, they did, and that's why, like I said, that's why I want to keep Becky and Bayley away from big pay-per-views coming up.
You mean Sasha and Bayley?
Becky and Bayley, is that what I said?
Yeah, you said Becky and Bayley.
Sorry, I got Becky on the brain, dude. This whole thing with her and Shayna Baszler being up in the air. Yeah, we'll get into that though. We'll get into that for the Elimination Chamber stuff. All the drama surrounding Vince and Shayna. But you guys, hey, listen, once again, man, thank you guys for tuning into our show. Make sure to check out Vince's predictions episode, which I believe you said you're going to drop tomorrow, right? Or Saturday, if you're watching this. And then, of course, we'll be covering the recap of Elimination Chamber. And other than that, it's business as usual. You can catch us throughout the week when we recap all the WWE shows and NXT, with the exclusion of 205 Live and NXT UK, but then again, not really anyone's asking for those anyways. So,
nope.
No offense to those guys. They're really good, man. They're really good. It's too much wrestling, man. I asked Jay during the interview. I was like, Jay, is there too much professional wrestling right now? He said no. I said, Jay, you're dead wrong. There absolutely is. There's too much pro wrestling right now. But
I think it's too much wrestling if you're trying to watch everything. But if you're just trying to catch a show here and there, there's enough. There's not too much.
Yeah.
And he doesn't watch every single show. He just watches NXT and maybe Raw.
Yeah, very good point. But anyways, I guess that's our show, man. Until next time, y'all have a good one.